go back to the early years of Meadowlark Lemon. You grew up in North Carolina. It was a difficult life, but yet it is one that fashioned you into the man that you ultimately became. Take me back to what the early years were like for Meadowlark Lemon.
Well, we didn't have television. Not too many people had television then. And we would go to the movie house every weekend, and we would get the news from last week. And I saw these young men from Chicago on a basketball court. And that's when I got my vision. I saw the Harlem Globetrotters, and something happened on the inside of me. There were a lot of kids in the movie house that day, but none of them saw what I saw. I guess they all saw them with their natural eyes, and I saw them with my spiritual eyes, which comes from within. And I ran home that day to learn how to play basketball. When I got home, I found out I had no place to play. So I made my own basket out of a coat hanger and an old onion sack. My first basketball was a carnation milk can. So now we can't put down small beginnings, because with the coat hanger, the onion sack, and a carnation milk can, we've carried basketball all over the world.
When you think about the time in which you and the Globies played, that was back in the mid-'50s, and of course that time was not particularly tolerant in this country. What did you note about the country at that time, Meadowlark?
There were so many things going on in the country. We were having wars all over the world. People needed something to laugh about. They needed something to laugh with. And we were it. Joe Louis was still around, and later on, Muhammad Ali, he came on the scene, and the charisma that he brought into boxing and entertainment, was second to none. And then there we were, we were playing basketball, and we would play against anybody. So every time we went into, we were the home team. Even when we played against the local teams, people cheered for us and didn't cheer for their home team. I tell people that I am the American dream. Ever since that day in the movie house in the Ritz Theater in Wilmington, North Carolina, I began to dream, and I had a vision about where I was going. And 7 years later, can you imagine? 7 years later, coming from not ever seeing a basketball game, not ever picking up a basketball, I was playing with the greatest team of all time, the Harlem Globetrotters.